Good morning and welcome to Flight Pass. My name is Simon. Hope you're doing good today. We are continuing our story about Waterloo. In fact, we should probably now update our title there. Let me just change that. We followed yesterday the trip of the Prussians from Wavre to Waterloo, and today we're going to be looking at the attack of the Prussians on the right flank of Waterloo. So we'll just change this now back to Waterloo, and then everyone knows where we are. If you're new to the channel, what you get on the top there is, on the left is the subject that we're talking about, and the middle will be the location, and the right is the date. And the time is around about 3:30 in the afternoon. And if you were following yesterday, the 4th Corps of the Prussian army under the command of Bulow had been forming up on the in this area here, which we should start off with. We'll just start there, fly there. So I hope you're all good today. If you're new to the stream, what we do here is we use Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 to investigate moments in history. And this flight simulator has got satellite technology and photogrammic imagery, and so it allows us to fly around. We're using the Huey today in the Canadian Rescue colours, so it allows us to fly around, and we can have a look at the distances, the topography, and get a better insight into what happened on days in history. We've done D-Day, and you'll find during the course of this video, you've probably seen one pop up already that says Waterloo, and that would be the Waterloo playlist, and then later on in the stream there'll be a D-Day playlist pop up as a postcard above, and you're going to click on them and go back and find out all the previous streams that we've done. And it has been a marathon. We're not in any hurry to get this done. We're trying to investigate this as much as possible, and so don't expect it to be the conclusion even of the battlefield today. In the last stream, we were flying around here, a place called Lasnay, Saint-Lambert, and we were trying to find a monument to a Prussian officer. I believe he was a colonel, and I can just remember what his name was. It's like Colonel Schwerin, I believe it was. And he was one of the first Prussian officers to be killed on the 18th of June. In this area here, and let me just get the map out for you so you all know exactly where we are. This is the journey that we've taken. We've started off down here in Elba, so go back and if you want to find the story, the whole story, we started off here February 1815, and Napoleon comes across. He lands at this bay here called the Gulf Juan, and he moves inland through Grasse into Dignay and Sisteron, Gap, eventually to Grenoble, Lyon, and then up to Auxerre, and then into Paris via Fontainebleau, Palace of Fontainebleau. And then from there, when his peace negotiations didn't work, he moves into the offensive and he moves his army up to this area here, Avnez-sur-Helpe, and eventually they cross the border in 3 columns around, centered on Beaumont, moved up on Charleroi on the 15th, engages the Prussians here at this number 4, which is the battlefield of Ligny, and Quatre Bras here, where this number 3 is. This is on the 16th. This forces the Prussians to retreat, and they move north to Wavre, and that forces Wellington back to the ridge at Mont Saint-Jean, which is here. And in the last stream, we were talking about the journey of Bulow's Corps from a place called Dion, Le Mans, which is to the southeast of Wavre, and it's the 25 kilometers that we've followed. He went from Wavre, Biège, Le Mans, to Lasnay, Chapelle, Saint-Lambert, and this is where we basically left them, forming up in this area here, and then advancing through this wood, which is called the Bois de Paris, and coming out in this area, just to which is on the right flank of Napoleon's. So that's the situation at the moment. So and here we are. We're on the currently on the edge of the eastern edge of the battlefield. We're at the Bois de Paris, and you can see the plain of the battlefield of Waterloo ahead of us. We've got the ridge here at Mont Saint-Jean just here. We've got the Smohain Brook area here. So this is the extreme left position of Wellington. And over here, where these trees are, where the white dot is now, is Napoleon's position. And this is the village here of Plancenoit, just where the white dot is kind of now. Okay, so this means so let's have a quick look at this escape. You can see as the Prussians come out of this wood, we discussed how they weren't really the French didn't come out here to meet them, really. They didn't. They could have come out here and caused issues whilst they're trying to form up, but they didn't. Their focus is completely on that Wellington's position over there. But as you can see here, the nature of this part of the battlefield here, this is the area that the Prussians will advance across, means that they are sort of channeled, to be honest. There's a steep defile here. This is the river Dyle, or Dyle, D-Y-L-E, on this side with woods. So this sort of defines the left-hand boundary. It basically means that the Prussians can't come round to the south of Napoleon's position, and they're kind of they have to move across in these fields on the right here as we fly along this sort of left edge of the battlefield. Up ahead of us now, we got the village of Plancenoit, and you should see the church somewhere in this area here. This church has been rebuilt since the battle. I believe it was the one we see here is from 1856, but it shows you the location, and it has a strong sort of wall around it. So this is the left-hand side of the village of Plancenoit. So we're now into the village here. So this is they're stone buildings here. They have cellars there. So it's a pretty easy place, I suppose, to defend. If you are a defender, there's quite a lot of little buildings here, and difficult to hold. And we're looking at here. We've got the Inn of the La Belle Alliance, and this is behind here is Napoleon's positions. And remember, D'Erlon is corps is on this side of the battlefield, down here, and Lobau has a couple of divisions over this side here as well. Right, so that's the sort of the general look of the this section of the battlefield. Let's start talking about the beginning of it. I'll just get my notes sorted. Now remember, Napoleon has seen... Sorry about this noise. Napoleon is aware of the Prussians in this area, and he has been aware of the Prussians in this area since probably around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Sorry. But Bulow's men are starting to appear. Oh, that was your fault, by the way. So you're in charge of flying, and you should have warned me that I was going to crash then. Let's just spin around here. There was no effort at all essentially to try to bottle up Bulow's corps in these woods over here, even though they were aware of the presence of the Prussians from about 1 o'clock. So, as you can see, I'm flying live. I'm trying to sort my notes out at the same time. No AI here. Well, again, you see, you're supposed to be telling me when I'm crashing. Right. Okay, let's try and... I've got an awkward page at the moment, and it won't just stay. It won't stay open for me. Let's I'm going to just pause here whilst I try and sort out my notes, and it allows us to jump into the. Okay, so this is the area here where the Prussians are coming out. They've formed up in this wood here. We were trying to find that monument. It's kind of in a little square with a tree on it. If anyone knows where that is, it might be one of these places over here, actually. Could be here. Maybe not. This is a very this is the road from the Bois de Paris towards Plancenoit. You should be able to see if you look maybe if we go a bit lower. Prussians come along this road here, and what I'm trying to show you is that the it doesn't quite show up, but you might just be able to see there on the it's kind of if you follow that little road along there where I'm looking right now, you can just see the spire of the church of Plancenoit. And so this is the focal point, and becomes the focal point for the Prussians. At this time, the French have a number of cavalry divisions in this area, essentially on their right flank, and these are the divisions of Domon and Suburvi. And they were mainly concerned with covering the right flank up this Smahain. And then he has Lobau's 2 infantry divisions in support, and behind that then is the Imperial Guard itself, and they were described as they were standing in the rear of the village of Plancenoit. So we would probably be thinking then that this area here is likely to be where the Imperial Guard will be hanging out, in this area, just here. And there was also there's two of D'Erlon's divisions. They were Duret's infantry and Jacquinot's cavalry. They are engaged with Wellington's left, so they're engaged at the time and around in this area over here. So that's the sort of situation on the left, and this is around about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, in context, then we've got continued attacks going in at this time on Hougoumont over this side. This is Rail's corps, so there's continued attacks going in on this position here, which is the sort of fortified right wing of Wellington. There was continued fighting and over the central position of La Haye-Sainte. But this is just after the cavalry charge of the British on D'Erlon's infantry. So there's a lot of disorder around this area at the time. And now Bulow is concentrating his troops in this area of the Bois de Paris. And he's also, at the same time, he's waiting for his artillery to come up. The artillery was behind most of the infantry at the time. Blucher had arrived here at this point, and they could see from this position and they had contacts with Wellington's army at this time, and they could see that a number of troops retreating on the ridge. They could see that there was a lot of people going back, streaming forward, and muffling was coming over here and telling the Prussians, they need to hurry up. And so Blucher forces Bulow to engage, even though he wasn't quite ready. And so he comes out of this wood here with 2 brigades. It had some artillery attached to them, and they engaged Domon's troopers and drives them back. And this is possibly, remember when we were talking about Wellington and the crisis that was happening up on the ridge here. This is possibly when he can hear the guns of the Prussians opening up in this area here, when the cavalry charges of the French cuirassiers are charging up in this area. and then they hear cannon fire coming from over this side of the battlefield. So the two brigades that are engaged by Bulow at this time are by one was led by a guy called Lostin, and the other one was the brigade following up behind called commanded by Hiller. And essentially they're coming down this road here, and Lostin is on this side of the road in this area here, driving this way, and Hiller is on the left-hand side. Now, two of Lostin's battalions move across and support Saxe-Weimar, who are in this area here. And so they're linking up now with the extreme left flank of Wellington. So they're forming up on this road, and they start with skirmishing light battalions ahead, moving down in this area here. So it actually might be this road here we're talking about. So we've got one brigade on this side, Lostin's, and one on this side, Hilliers. And waiting for them over here are two divisions of French cavalry, with two divisions of infantry standing behind them. And they say they're one each side of the highest point of the Plancenoit road. So if we're thinking French, then we're probably talking in this area here, so two each side of this road. And you've got the advance of the Prussians coming towards us. So the time then is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and as I say, they're coming out of this wood here, and they're the spire of Plancenoit's church, which is here. This spire here is the target, so you can see how that is, if you keep a focus on it, you can see how that becomes the focus point all the way back this way towards the Prussians in the wood. So they're going to be heading using that as their target point. And it's believed at this point as well, if they looked right, so we're looking this way, you can see, ignore the fact that panorama mound is there, because that would have been a part of a ridge, but they could see from this position here the waves of French cavalry attacking Wellington's position on that Mont Saint Jean ridge. And so it's a very crucial moment in the battle, and it's obviously one that because this at this point here, with the waves of French cavalry moving up onto that ridge there, the reserves that are behind Plancenoit, which over here, would have been engaged at this point to help the cavalry. But at the exact time when they could have been engaged, the Prussian, a corps of Prussians is pouring out of the wood at the Bois de Paris into this area here, and this then diverts the attention of Napoleon. So it's believed the first engagement at this in this area is around about 4:30. So they've taken about an hour to get across here, and the first to be engaged is Lozvin's brigade. And they say that they reached the chateau of Fichemont. And break into a skirmish formation here, finding it occupied by the French. And with a determined bayonet charge, they managed to clear those buildings from the from their occupiers. And we have cavalry action in this area as well. The Prussian hussars throwing back a regiment of French cavalry in this area. And there's a lot of toing and froing going on here, counter-charging. And this is securing the sort of link up now with Wellington's left, which is sort of centered, is locked onto that area there. Now, of course, Bulow is actually moving south of Fichemont Chateau in this area here, and we were talking about how Zieten is the corps that it will be coming along this section here to actually join up with Wellington later on. So from this situation here, Lostin continues his attack, and is described as moving forward up the ridge. So from this position here, we could see that that's probably moving up this way. And Lobai starts to feel threatened in this area here, and he starts to pull back because his flank is threatened. So presumably he's sort of in this area here. Prussians are getting up on to the ridge to his right, and he's now pulling back into the village of Plancenoit itself. And Lebel would place one brigade of infantry in this village, and he'd have another one would turn to face the front, but in positions further to the north. So presumably then we're talking in the village here, but also in this area around here. And the Prussians start bringing up artillery, is described, onto this ridge, and presumably, not sure whether these trees were here, but we're looking possibly at this area here would be where the Prussians bring up their artillery. So at this point here, Lebao has secured his right flank on Plancenoit, the stream, brook, river, what you want to call it. This valley here is securing his, protecting his right flank, so he's not going to get outflanked to the right. He's got he's occupying the village here with the church just below us there, and it seems like a strong position. And he's facing his division is facing the two brigades coming up this way. Now, of course, this was an order from Blücher to move forwards. These amounts of Prussian troops, two brigades, was not going to be enough to dislodge Lebao at the moment. And so it's this point that Bulow is hurriedly trying to sort of form up other brigades and move them out to behind to bring up in support. So already then, just the presence here of two Prussian brigades has locked in quite a lot of Lebao's corps, which was a part of Napoleon's reserve already here. And so these troops that are moving to the right, so imagine they were here and they're moving to the right this way, are not now going to be going up here and supporting the cavalry charges up this way. And so the Battle of Plancenoit is about to begin. In the meantime, let's just jump in the helicopter, do a bit of flying. And we're just spinning back around here. We're facing south at the moment, and we'll spin back around and head north. So at this time, it's around about 4:30. We talked briefly about Zieten, and Zieten is moving up, and he's beginning to link up with Wellington's left. Okay, that actually seems like a good place to have a quick break. When we come back, then we'll have a brief look at the link up between Zieten and Wellington on the beginning of the ridge of Mont Saint-Jean. If you have been following along, then thank you very much, and I love it if you could like and subscribe, so I can do more of these things. And we will come back in a couple of minutes if you're watching live, and we will continue the story of the Prussians' entry onto the battlefield. Okay, see you in a moment.